One of the biggest storms in recent years is leaving plenty to clean up. Thousands of people showed their support for immigrants in downtown Los Angeles, and the NBA All-Stars from the West beat the East for the third year in a row.
This is Valley View News.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Samantha Schenkel.
And I'm Gracia Lopez.
Experts say last week's Southern California storm was the most powerful in years. It caused flooding on multiple freeways, triggered massive mudslides, and downed hundreds of trees and power lines. Evacuation orders were issued in mountain areas where brush fires hit last summer. In the San Bernardino Mountains, a landslide the size of 3 football fields threatened several homes. Near Williams, California, the flooding on I-5 caused muddy streets. Cars slowly made their way through the challenging weather. With the roads flooded, Southern California residents were forced to drive on roads with water up to their windshields. But some residents welcomed the storm. Surfers ditched the beach and caught waves on the pavement. Kyle Farmer used a pickup truck and rope to surf through his neighborhood. The seasonal totals of rainfall for California are already far above an average year.
Severe storms in south central Texas caused heavy thunderstorms, pounding rain, and even tornadoes. One of the tornadoes in San Antonio was reportedly the worst in recent years. The National Weather Service says winds were 105 miles per hour. Close to 50,000 people were left without power in the San Antonio area, and more than 100 homes were damaged. Several people were hurt, but only minor injuries were reported.
Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets of Los Angeles to support immigrant rights. This comes after the massive immigrant raids that have struck in Southern California. Valley View News reporter Josue Brand has more on the protests.
Thousands of people marched the street of Los Angeles to protest against the deportation rates. Activists and organizations joined together to support the immigrant community.
This is America. America is made of immigrants. It's a nation for all. This is about inclusiveness. This isn't about embracing people from all walks of life from all over the world. That is what makes America great.
Large number of detention raids have been occurring in San Bernardino, Downey, Santa Paula, Oxnard, and Van Nuys. ICE has reportedly made 200 arrests and is expecting to increase. Immigration lawyer Jancy Montet advises the immigrant community on procedure to take if someone comes to their homes or is arrested.
If immigration, known as ICE, which is Immigration Customs Enforcement officers, show up to someone's door, it's important for the people to know that they do not have to open the door. However, they have to ask for an arrest warrant or some sort of legal document to show that they are looking for an individual and with the same address. So the first thing I would suggest is cooperate with the ICE officers, ask them if they have an arrest warrant. If they are looking for an individual and that person is there, turn them in. If that individual that they're looking for is not there and they start taking away people and detaining them and arresting them, just remember that individuals who are arrested by ICE, they have the same rights just like U.S. citizens.
One Los Angeles woman that did not want to reveal her identity said she's concerned that her family is at risk of being deported.
I have to give my daughter the numbers of several people that she can call in case they deport us and we cannot return. And I told her to also be careful so she won't be detained.
If arrested by ICE, Montes advised that people have the right to remain silent, fight a case before immigration judge and of attorney. In Los Angeles, Josue Brand, Valley View News.
President Trump attempted to clarify his remark that suggested a terrorist attack in Sweden. He tweeted that in his statement in Florida referred to a story from Fox News concerning immigrants and Sweden.
Sweden! Who would believe this? Sweden! They took in large numbers. They're having problems like they never thought possible.
After Trump's initial remarks, Swedish representatives responded in shock, pointing out that nothing had happened in their country. Sweden's former prime minister responded by tweeting, "What has he been smoking?"
Vice President Mike Pence told European leaders the U.S. remains committed to cooperation and partnership with the European Union. The comments were aimed at relieving European allies' concerns about some of President Trump's comments. Trump has openly criticized NATO and has spoken out in favor of Brexit. Pence told leaders the U.S. is in full support of NATO and would continue to hold Russia accountable for the Ukraine conflict.
The United States will continue to hold Russia accountable and demand that Russia honor the Minsk agreements, beginning by de-escalating the violence in eastern Ukraine.
Pence says the United States is committed to a partnership with the European Union.
Education Secretary Betsy DeVos is causing many school advocates to worry. CSUN secondary education professor David Mogul shares his view on the controversies.
Valley View News reporter Caroline Hogikian spoke to him about these issues.
Thank you for being here, Professor Miguel. Can you tell us specifically what education advocates are worried about when it comes to Betsy DeVos being the Secretary of Education?
The chief worry, I think, is that she appears to lack experience working in public school and public school education. On the other hand, I think she does appear to have quite a bit of experience in promoting other kinds of education, alternatives to public school education.
How much power does DeVos hold as Secretary of Education?
That is not clear. In the past, the most successful education secretaries in this country have been individuals who have used the position as a bully pulpit, as a platform from which to raise important questions and communicate the president's agenda. So foremost would be probably in the last 30 years, William Bennett, who was under President Reagan, was able to put forward an agenda and tour nationally and speak at many different places, raising lots of questions and engaging in controversies of the day. But under him, the agency was very well known, and so was the work of the Secretary of Education. After Secretary Bennett, there have been other secretaries, not as visible, not as vocal, not as well known as him. The power of the secretary also has something to do with the role of the agency. It's probably not commonly known that the U.S. Department of Education contributes only about 7 or 8% of any school district's budget.
And why is it important for DeVos to understand the fundamentals of public education?
It's always important for anyone who would hold that position to have to have a strong knowledge base in the area of public education and what challenges it faces. It appears that in the case of Secretary DeVos, again, she appears to have a great deal of experience in promoting alternatives to public education, challenging the system either through proposals for a voucher system or through the expansion of charter schools. But in general, her work would be more effective the more she knows about public education, or the more she is informed about public education, because that is the purpose of the department, to support her in learning about the schools and the challenges that they face.
Thank you so much for being here. Now back to you guys.
With tax season in full swing, CSUN's volunteer income tax assistance is here to help. As Valley View News reporter Nicholas Torres shows us, the VITA Clinic is a free tax preparation service.
You have one dependent?
CSUN student Gabriela Flores is having her taxes done by fellow students, and she is grateful for their service.
Especially since I'm a college student, I don't really have that much money to invest on preparing my taxes. So when I heard about CSUN VITA, I was pretty glad, because I knew I didn't have to spend money on that. I could spend it somewhere else.
Flores is one of the hundreds of students taking advantage of the VITA program. Student volunteers from the economic and business schools help low-income residents in the San Fernando Valley. VITA supervisor Francisco Peralta says it's a wonderful feeling seeing the faces of grateful customers.
I like doing it because I help people. Taxes is something that's mandatory for everybody to do, and if everybody has to do it and we can do it for free, that's just our way of helping out the community.
The student tax preparers gain valuable experience and also make a connection with their clients. Dr. Rafi Efrat says engaging in the community is one of the clinic's top priorities.
And what we're trying to do is to reach out to taxpayers that rely on the tax preparation as a source of financial stability.
An average tax preparation fee can be quite expensive. Efrat says the clinic is valuable because it offers important financial resources while limiting the cost burden.
That's truly what gets our student volunteers so enthused about the work that they do here, is that they're able to, within an hour, truly transform the life in a small way, but in an important way, of the taxpayer that arrives.
Most students do not have the extra couple $100 it now takes to get their taxes done. The gift of helping others is what is most important for students who work at VITA. And students like Gabriella are grateful for their help.
Yeah, they're really friendly. They knew what they were doing, so I felt confident in them preparing my taxes.
If you would like to have the stress taken out of filing taxes, visit the VITA clinic in Juniper Hall or at the several locations throughout the San Fernando Valley. Reporting from Northridge, I'm Nicholas Torres, Valley View News.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel says Islam is not the source of terrorism. At the annual Munich Security Conference, Merkel stressed the importance of working with Muslim countries to combat terrorism. This comes in response to President Trump's travel ban from several Muslim countries. Merkel hopes Europe and its allies can cooperate with Russia in the fight against ISIS. She also defended her decision to allow nearly 1 million refugees into Germany.
About 40 people were injured in an explosion in Colombia's capital of Bogota. The explosion came during protests to reinstate bullfighting, but officials aren't sure it is linked to the unrest. Animal rights activists are angered by the court's decision, and numerous protests have broken out. Many injured are believed to be police officers. No fatalities have been reported.
The average Venezuelan has lost about 20 pounds due to the economic crisis and lack of proper nutrition. A recent survey says Venezuelans are not consuming the 2,000 calories daily needed. It also found that more than 90% of the population does not have enough money to cover food costs. Researchers have found that most Venezuelans are substituting red and white meats with fruits and vegetables. Venezuelans extreme poor say they have lost more than 20 pounds.
When we come back, we take a look at the best hiking trails in Southern California.
And a recap at last week's All-Star Weekend. Los Angeles is the world's most clogged city. The transportation research firm INRIX says each driver in Los Angeles spent 104 hours driving in congestion last year. The average U.S. driver spent about 42 hours per year battling congestion. Moscow residents spent 91 hours in crowded traffic, and New Yorkers about 89. Being stuck in traffic last year cost the average U.S. driver $1,400.
Last call might get a little later at your go-to bar, thanks to a proposed legislation in California Assembly. It would allow cities to decide how late alcohol should be served and set their own last call times. California State Senator Scott Weiner says nightlife matters a lot, culturally and economically, and it is time to allow local communities more flexibility. Last call is currently at 2 a.m. across the state. Under the bill, cities with active bar scenes could move their last call time to as late as 4 a.m.
Federal authorities are investigating the theft of drugs from veteran hospitals, prison hospitals, and facilities serving Indian tribes. Also at issue are missing prescriptions and unauthorized drug use by Veterans Affairs employees since 2009. The VA's Jeffrey Hughes says monthly inspections could help uncover potential discrepancies. Data obtained by the DEA shows drug losses or thefts at federal hospitals increasing from about 300 in 2009 to nearly 3,000 by 2015.
Many of us exercise indoors, but some are heading outdoors. As Valley View news reporter Flor Tolentino shows us, it's all about hitting the trail.
Los Angeles is known for its glitz and glam, but what many don't know is that it's home to amazing hiking trails, such as Griffith Park, Runyon Canyon, and the famous Hollywood Sign Trail. The West Griffith Park Observatory Trail takes you all the way up to the observatory. It's one of the easiest trails at Griffith Park, designed for families and children. It's 2 miles long. You climb more than 500 feet in elevation gain, and if you're lucky, you might spot some deer along the way.
My friend and I come here almost every week. It's just a great place to kind of release your stress and stuff, but you don't also have to go far out. And it's a short hike.
Dino Costas came all the way from Chicago to visit Griffith Park and says it's an easy trail to traverse.
I like the views. I think the vistas are really pretty. After the rain, I think it's gorgeous that it's so green.
Recently, Runyon Canyon reopened, and no matter what the weather is like, people come out to enjoy the views and walk along these trails. You can take your dog along a new paved trail that's about 2 miles long. Along the right side of Runyon Canyon, there's another trail that isn't paved. It's a little over 1 mile long. You can get views of downtown LA and the Hollywood Hills. Jasmine Carulis traveled from Melbourne to see the scenery at Runyon Canyon.
This has been really cool, but I think the trail itself is actually really nice to walk on as well. It's not too hard. I was expecting it to be a lot more difficult, so that's good.
The Hollywood Sign Trail is the most historic trail. It offers hikers an amazingly close encounter to the 45-foot-tall letters. There are 3 routes. The Mount Hollywood Trail for beginning hikers is about 3 miles long and is mostly flat. The Canyon Drive Trail for the moderate hiker is 6.5 miles long and steady uphill. And lastly, the Cahuenga Peak Trail is for the expert hiker, and this trail is more rugged and less defined than the others. Hikers climb over 800 feet in elevation, and it's 3 miles long. Once you reach the top, you are just above and behind the letters and can even see the Pacific Ocean on a clear day. Canadian tourist Carly Claire Singer says this trail has a lot to offer.
The Hollywood sign is very iconic and everyone talks about it, so the fact that you can get this close to see it, well, this beautiful setting, then it's pretty exciting.
Whether you consider hiking a workout or not, you can still come enjoy these trails and get a view of the Hollywood sign. Reporting for Valley View News in Los Angeles, I'm Flor Tolentino.
Now let's go with Eric Sklar with the latest in sports.
Thanks. This year's NBA All-Star festivities took place in New Orleans. The All-Star game featured the best of the best from both the East and West conferences. It also featured a reunion of former teammates Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Durant connects with Russell Westbrook on this alley-oop. The West bench was loving it, probably relieving some tension between the former teammates. Let's pick this up in the third quarter as Russell Westbrook heats up from downtown. Got so hot in the third quarter, he even had to cool himself off after that shot. Towards the end of the game, the West started feeding hometown hero New Orleans Pelican Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis scored 52 points and had 10 rebounds. He broke the record for most points in the NBA All-Star game held by Wilt Chamberlain. Anthony Davis was awarded MVP honors of the game, and the West outlasted the East 192-182. The Sacramento Kings have traded center DeMarcus Cousins to the New Orleans Pelicans. The Kings received guards Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, and Langston Galloway. They also received a first and second round draft pick in this upcoming draft. The trade pairs Cousins with fellow Kentucky Wildcat Anthony Davis. The Pelicans are only a few games out of the 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. A trade of this magnitude could potentially propel them into the playoffs. The Twin Towers of Cousins and Davis is certainly enough to put the Western Conference on notice that the Pelicans are serious about making a championship run in the very near future. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver delivered his State of the League address this past weekend during the NBA All-Star festivities. Silver addressed the controversial HB2 law from North Carolina, which limits anti-discrimination policies directed at the LGBTQ community. He also touched on immigration policies regarding foreign players.
What we've stated is that our values, our league-wide values in terms of equality and inclusion are paramount to this league and all the members of the NBA family. And I think those jurisdictions that are considering legislation similar to HB2 are on notice that is an important factor for us. Those values are an important factor for us in deciding where we take a special event like an All-Star game. We are a business based on global mobility. As I said earlier, 25% of our players were born outside of the United States. Government restrictions on travel, I am concerned about.
The city of Charlotte was supposed to host this year's All-Star festivities, but due to the HB2 law, the league moved the weekend to New Orleans. Silver said he has spoken to new North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper and hopes that the Charlotte Hornets will host next year's All-Star weekend. Kevin Olsen, brother of Carolina Panthers tight end Greg Olsen, has been arrested on rape charges. The 22-year-old quarterback for UNC Charlotte was booked on multiple charges, including second-degree forcible rape, cyberstalking, and assault on a female. UNC Charlotte coach Brad Lambert says he is aware of the situation and Olsen has been suspended from the team. Lambert also said the university is reviewing the incident in accordance with its disciplinary procedures. Selection Sunday is only a few weeks away, and a perennial powerhouse is looking to reclaim its stake at the top. The North Carolina Tar Heels are now projected to be the fourth #1 seed to go along with Villanova, Kansas, and Gonzaga. The Tar Heels have a top 5 RPI and are among the top 20 in the nation in terms of strength of schedule. The UCLA Bruins, coming off a 32-point victory over their crosstown rival last weekend, have been projected as a #4 seed. USC, on the other hand, is projected to be a #9 seed. March Madness is set to begin Tuesday, March 14th, so remember to get your bracket filled out before then. That's it for sports. Now back to you.
When we come back, we preview this weekend's Oscars.
And one of Hitler's personal belongings is auctioned off.
A CSUN Black History Month event focused on hair. As Valley View News reporter Sharon Carrillo shows us, it was all about feeling comfortable with your natural self.
Free braiding was provided to both men and women who attended the event. Volunteer braiders brought with them popular hair products that can work on numerous hairstyles. One hair braider volunteer, Sharice McKenzie, actually recalls feeling self-conscious about her hair.
Because I went to an all-Hispanic school, my hair was the different. In my class, I was like the only black girl with this textured hair. So it was always hard. Like they would say your hair is like cottony, and that's what I thought of myself, and I always wanted their hair.
Many black women say they love their natural curls and don't use heat products, wigs, or hair weaves. One of them is Isis Golding.
I wear my hair natural, no shame with it. I see how beautiful it is, and I really am liking this whole natural movement that's going on.
All black girls should feel comfortable in their own skin, their own textures right now.
ASO President Olivia Junke says African American women have many options, and she likes to use all of them.
I have like an obsession with hair. I mean, I love doing my own. I just did it yesterday. And it's always good to change it up and do something different.
The Department of Africana Studies at CSUN celebrates Black History Month by organizing numerous events on campus every day for the entire month of February. This is one of the many events CSUN is holding to honor Black History Month. It's open to both men and women, but this is more than just about hair. It's about empowerment and loving yourself. In Northridge, Sharon Carrillo, Valley View News.
Now let's go to Flor Tolentino with the latest in entertainment.
Thank you. Award season is about to come to a close with the biggest night in Hollywood. With 14 Oscar nominations, La La Land is expected to be the movie to beat the 89th Academy Awards. Late Night's Jimmy Kimmel will be hosting for the first time. Films like Moonlight have received top honors at other award shows, making it a top contender. The last 2 years, the Oscars have been accused of little or no diversity in nominations. However, this year's films such as Hidden Figures, Fences, and Lion, all with diverse casts, are nominated. Donald Glover has been cast as Simba in the Lion King live-action film. Director Jon Favreau also announced James Earl Jones, who was the voice of Mufasa in the original cartoon film, will continue his role in the live-action remake. The Lion King follows the success of other Disney live-action movies including Maleficent, Cinderella, Tarzan, and the upcoming Beauty and the Beast. The release date for the film is yet to be announced. Fans of TV's Golden Girls can now get their fill of the show's memorabilia in a New York City cafe. The Rue La Rue Cafe features a collection of costumes, photos, and other kitsch from the series. The items were collected by cast member Rue McClanahan. Other cast members include Betty White, Bea Arthur, and Estelle Getty. It's been 25 years since the Golden Girls made their debut, but this show has a strong following and episodes are available on rerun and streaming services. Angelina Jolie has spoken out for the first time since her split from Brad Pitt last year. She says it has been a difficult time for her, but she, Pitt, and their children will forever be a family. Jolie got custody of their 6 children. Jolie and Pitt had been together since 2004. They married 3 years ago. That's all I have for entertainment. Now let's go back to you.
Omar Abdelrahman, the man linked to the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, died last week. Abdelrahman was also indicted for another terrorist plot that included the World Trade Center. He was convicted of conspiracy in 1995 and sentenced to life in prison. Officials say his death at 78 was due to natural causes.
Adolf Hitler's personal phone sold at an auction in Maryland for $243,000. The phone was retrieved from a Hitler's bunker a couple days after the end of World War II. It was kept in a box in England ever since. The phone was the primary tool Hitler used to issue commands in the last 2 years of the war.
After practicing Kung Fu for over 80 years, a 93-year-old Chinese woman becomes a social media sensation. Zhang Huxian first learned Kung Fu when she was 4 years old and still wakes up at 5 every morning to practice. Photos of Zhang went viral and gave her a newfound internet fame. Zhang practices a type of Kung Fu originating from Fujian province and circling 15 different styles. Each style has 36 moves, and she has mastered them all. She says practicing Kung Fu has been a family tradition for more than 300 years.
Thank you for watching Valley View News. I'm Samantha Schenkel.
And I'm Gracia Lopez.